it's got to be so darn close. Close to the edge, close to the train. I know. What? Can we put on a special lens and make it look close?
We had a section where we shot the two cars approaching the train for the near miss where the BMW skates through and then he throws a 180 slide on the opposite side of the train, where we do some high-speed stuff, some high-speed run-bys at, sometimes 130 miles an hour with these cars.
They did a number of practice runs with the train and the cars to get the timing right, so there wasn't going to be any mishaps with the train actually hitting the car. The whole idea with the stunts is just to make them look spectacular, death-defying.
You had the swag method, remember that? The scientific wild-ass guess?
We had a section where we shot the two cars approaching the train for the near miss where the BMW skates through and then he throws a 180 slide on the opposite side of the train, and then we kind of had the Trans Am lead up to that and do a slide. As the driver comes in and throws a slide, it slams his pole into the ground, which catapults the car up in the air. Then we cut to that on the opposite side of the tracks where we see the Trans Am come over the top by hitting what we would call a pipe ramp.
This ramp I've hit quite a few times, but I've probably done a couple hundred of these kinds of wrecks in my career, so we've taken every precaution known to man.
People got the wrong figures, were misinformed about the height of the train, so we came out to shoot it. They said, I thought the train was only 14 foot high. I said, no, it's 16 foot. I went,
As far as I know, it's the steepest ramp we could find, so it'll get the car way up in the air, but I'm going to come around the corner, I'll be all strapped in, just kind of like a NASCAR guy, and come in at about 60, 65 miles an hour and see what happens.
The fireball went off too soon. The guy couldn't see the ramp. So instead of going up the ramp like that, he went up the ramp with only one wheel on the ramp. So the car just went up in the air and dropped like an old coconut. Second time, they overcompensated. Instead of going, actually meant to go 140 feet, I think it went 160 feet horizontal. And went, instead of going 30 feet in the air, went 40 feet in the air, but came down on its roof like that.
Well, yeah, anything like this is going to get your attention, but I've got a great cage. I've had the same guys build them for years, and Tony said he wants a lot of air. We're going to give it to him.
Very strange and surreal. Again, amazing action sequences, but it involves sort of like a drag race through the Vegas Strip and out into the desert.
Encompasses, in and out of traffic in the city, some high-speed driving through parts of downtown Vegas. We're in downtown Las Vegas, so we want the effect of all the lights and the people and the crowds, and kind of just to signify the start of the devil chase. That there's a lot of logistical problems in terms of how fast we can go, the amount of people that are on the streets, as you see, crowd control, and just dealing with a lot of different elements to try and get the pieces we need. It's a whole different animal from working out in the desert where we were kind of isolated. The main things we're trying to focus on is getting the coverage on the actors that are in the cars, along with compiling shots with the stunt guys doing the same type of action.
So in the digital world, I was able to enhance the pace and the energy and the danger of these races, and also, the combination of that, the digital world, with just us shaking the cameras like this, that's the modern technology of today.
Man, you don't have a clue to what I'm talking about.
Afraid not.
Good. Out of here.
I got the Godfather of Soul from Mr. Aitor.
What Tony Scott was going for in The Devil's Lair was to kind of create this very surreal kind of rock and roll playground where he does all his deals.
I'm the best plagiarist in the world. I stole a lot from performance. I stole a lot from the idea of the words in the Robert Johnson song, Crossroads, and which was on the original script. So it's a combination of everybody sitting around this table and pooling their ideas and saying, wow, that would be interesting, that would be interesting. But there wasn't once that anybody ever said, we've got to pull back. That was a first, that was the most interesting and the most funnest part of this ride.
It could kind of be sort of all very just ridiculous, but the fact that James Brown, we're running around yesterday with fluorescent tubes, and I'm sort of touching out Clive Owen, and James Brown's on stage behind us singing Sex Machine. So I don't know, gives it. I'm not quite sure what it gives it.
James Brown was singing, and so I just got into the music and decided to strip. Just take it up in the moment.
We never push the cars in the films. They aren't commercials, they're movies. We know that people really want a chance to see the Z4, to really see it. And that's what the motion VRs are all about.
We had this idea of shooting the Z4 Roadster as a VR in motion. Unlike a traditional VR where you're looking at a static image from different angles, we really wanted to see if we could do this while the car was moving. There's just something beautiful about the car moving.
In creating the motion VRs, we tried video as well as digital still cameras. And after viewing the initial video, decided to just scrap the video and go with the digital cameras. One of the benefits were that we could shoot up to 350 or 360 frames, as well as view the footage we were getting in the chase vehicle. Then we mounted the 8 cameras to give us as broad amount of angles as we could on the car. The rig itself, which was about as long as the Z4, still gave us the opportunity to maneuver the car, and it actually handled quite well.
Well, we wanted a strong association between the motion VR and the films. So we shot in the same locations, and we shot on some of the same streets as the films. In the end, we had shot about 64,000 stills just to get the 2 clips that you can see on the website and on the DVD.